It's safe for at least a few more weeks. Yes.
Thank God. We do not condone this at all.
When they were whooping so much in that first category for him, it was like, oh no. Oh no. Secretly, because I still had 2 hot dogs to eat, and I was like, do I bother? I better, just in case. Just in case I need it for later on. And thankfully, miracles have happened. Oh, that's what I need to do, because it has double meaning.
Speaking of that, miracles have happened because yesterday I have finally seen my 10th Best Picture nominee theatrically.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm on the road to getting the 4 that I need to see for a second time.
And like we were saying before, the last one you needed to see, you clearly just saw in time.
Literally just saw it last night. Cold open, ladies and gentlemen, restaurant quality, just like this wonderful AEW Revolution week we're about to go into. But I will say right now that, yeah, AJ alluded to it, and I pretty much gave it away. Yeah, I saw it just in time, and never have I been happier to be wrong. I will say right now that last night I was able to finally view Coda, and just like nature intended, in a theater, not a stupid streaming service. I don't care. Short attention span theater, I understand to watch movies on your computer, watch movies on your television, streamcast, things like that. No. Me, on the other hand, I have to watch it in a theater, and I went to great lengths to try to watch everything theatrically, and I was able to finally do it yesterday. And as a matter of fact, not only that, we're starting late tomorrow for our Spirit Awards predictions, because I'm going across town to watch the documentary shorts, because I've already got the live action and the animated shorts covered theatrically. So I'm going all out this year. Thanks, Yak in the classroom.
That's
They're
September.
going to be impossible to find.
That's September.
So this is the start of everything. So obviously this is the last time that I was not here for the last shows. So this is the first time we've been together for an actual televised award show.
Well, and it is the first time we've been together for a televised award show, because the Golden Globes was a Twitter feed.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Anyway.
Yeah, but you said you weren't there last time.
I haven't been there for anything so far.
Oh.
I haven't been there for any of the award shows so far. This is the first time I've been here for them. And it's like, it seems like it's right that everything just fell into place. AJ mentioned that I saw Coda just in time. Ironically enough, the last movie I'm going to watch for my second viewing is actually going to be Don't Look Up on Oscar Sunday.
Interesting.
That's how it works with the scheduling. Because I've got to drive my car showing on a random Friday. And Don't Look Up, of course, I've got on Oscar Sunday. I'll watch Dune at some point again. And then I'd be more than happy to watch Coda at some point as well, so I can get my second viewing of it, so I can see everything theatrically twice, which I feel like is quite an accomplishment this year, especially given how difficult it is when there's so many streaming movies that are running for Best Picture this year. So yeah, this is the Screen Actors Guild Awards, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have Ashley. And AJ.
Yeah, it was a very interesting night overall, but all I really needed was that one shot after Will Smith won of Denzel clapping like a proud dad. Like that's the only thing I needed.
And of course, not to Nolan this thing, I will state right now that we were pretty neck and neck all run long. You actually won by 1 overall. And some very surprising wins that we were not calling, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I actually, I have this in front of me. I have notes from things and questions I ask for everyone. We'll get to those as we get to them. And then, of course, I have all the categories and what actually won tonight. So, but first, as always, live chat. Brian says, well, for my movie predictions, I got 4 out of 6. Since the last podcast, I've seen Warrior and The Social Network. Oh, God, that's a great double feature right there. 2 fantastic movies. Parsnip Burger says, does that mean Chastain is an Oscar favorite? It doesn't hurt at all. Not at all. Because there wasn't really a front runner. And I still don't think we have one.
Yeah, because you can look at it from either perspective, because either she's in a really good place right now, or you can fall back on Viola Davis won this last year, and that didn't mean anything.
Yeah. Speaking of other movies that Brian saw, he saw August Osage County, Animal Kingdom, Blue Jasmine, and he's going to be watching Winter's Bone and Foxcatcher.
That's a roller coaster of a groove.
I like a lot of those movies. A couple of them are some of my absolute favorites. One I was bored to tears with, and I don't know why. I've always been indifferent to Animal Kingdom. I liked it overall, but it's like
it's one of those ones that takes a couple of times. Yeah, I've seen it a few times now, and I love it. But I was indifferent to it the first time. Same with Winter's Bone.
Oh yeah, I love Blue Jasmine. Foxcatcher's phenomenal. Brian says I called Chastain. Yeah, it feels interesting that she won tonight. I mean, kudos, really. Like, kind of came out of nowhere. Brian also said, did finish Spider-Man themed marathon other than No Way Home. Top Hat says Coda winning isn't really an indicator for the Oscars since Black Panther won in 2019. Coda's in a good spot though, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing where it could have really upset the Oscar race was if King Richard had won here.
Yeah, it felt like as we were progressing towards the end of the show, it really felt like the only options were Coda and King Richard.
Is it unwise to rule Coda out completely low, considering the reputation of like Spotlight and Parasite?
Well, you're preaching to the choir, Ashley.
Which both won SAG in their respective years that they quote unquote stole the Oscars.
Ashley, Coda's definitely in this for sure.
Yeah, the thing is that while you bring up Spotlight, Spotlight shows that you only need to win one other category to win picture. You don't need to sweep or anything. And adapted screenplay, Coda's got to go through Power of the Dog, which is going to be really tough. But I mean, if Coater's in front of Cody Smith McPhee right now, that's one it could have.
Very, very, very happy about that. Sorry, Paranorman. The thing is, at the end of the day, I will say right now, I mean, I know it doesn't really matter overall because there's a lot of qualifications that a lot of movies that you would expect to be in here are just not. But with Lost Daughter taking USC Scripter, that's a good win right there as well. Now, granted, a lot of things are not eligible. However, it's good visibility.
Then again, at the same time as well, I think I saw one tweet that basically said the author of the book that it's adapted from is very sort of like, I will never have any of my work adapted into other media. So the USC might partly be giving it to Maggie because she managed to get the impossible to be possible.
You mean she worked with the female Stephen King is what you're talking about then, basically, for all intents and purposes.
To some extent, yeah.
And for those of you that are Horror Nights fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Brian says the next Craig Bond movies are going to be including a rewatch of Skyfall prior to No Time to Die. Speaking of Bond, I went to the Bond Lounge again yesterday, which I love so much. James Bond Lounge at Deezerland, which is at the Cinemark XD Theater here in Orlando, which is like a couple mile walk away. AJ knows how long the walk was. I talked to him on the phone while I was doing it both times. Needless to say, that's a great place. They have like memorabilia from the actual movies and lots of really cool like James Bond props, and they're showing the movies constantly. They serve Pepsi, and that's incredible, and that makes me happy. So, needless to say, I love the Bond Lounge. I love any opportunity to go. That's the reason why I like going to that theater, because I love watching the movies, but I get to go to the Bond Lounge, and that's awesome. Decently cheap too.
And speaking of Skyfall, very unexpected Skyfall flashback when Anton Chigurh's hair got compared to Judi Dench in Belfast.
Yeah, that's in my note key I have from here, and I put a question mark on the side of it. And I was like, all right, fine. Speaking of that, I think Javier Bardem has like the most like Technicolor coat I think I've seen in a long time since the cast of Boogie Nights. So
I was gonna say, did you not see Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in any shape or form?
I mean, granted, I feel like I was getting a rebirth right then and there with Bardem. So there you go. Parsnip says, don't want Will Smith to win the Oscar. I can't get behind a movie of two of the greatest female tennis stars from the point of view of a man.
They produced it, so they clearly feel otherwise.
Movie's fantastic. Will Smith deserves it. And the only person that I want to see take that Oscar from him, if the only chance he has, is if he would have won tonight, and he wasn't going to. So, the real Spider-Man. Anyway, Top Hat says Squid Game. Yeah. And with the exclamation points, it's like it reminds me of like Metal Gear Solid in the chat right now. That's what it looks like.
Considering some of the stuff that happens in that, yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I've seen The Ladder too, and I was watching Foxcatcher during the ceremony. Brian says Elena Ferrante is the author of The Lost Daughter.
Hang on, Brian. Mark.
God dang it. Oh God.
I don't know that Foxcatcher is the kind of movie you want to watch while multitasking.
No, you want to focus 100% on it. Hopefully next weekend I can try to find the original film that Coda was based on. Is the original 61 version of West Side Story, which Top Hat mentions is on Netflix right now. Smurfy Boy says if Coates wins BAFTA or Critics' Choice, it's over for Cody Smith McPhee. I freaking hope so.
Yeah, because I kept saying, I kept building up this whole idea of Kieran Hines maybe winning BAFTA. But if Coach is going to start a streak, then yeah, that'll be...
I'm 100% fine with that. Brian says, sorry to say this, everybody, but The Social Network is absolutely boring.
Which
Brian,
is
it was nice.
It's amazing to think. It's amazing to think it's boring, considering how fast-paced the dialogue is, because it's a 6-hour script that's put in a 2-hour, 40-minute film.
The Social Network is a masterclass of everything, and I don't see anything wrong with it at all. And I'm the first person that's going to jump to something being boring on this panel for sure. And I made it through 3 hours of Drive My Car and was riveted the entire time. And it's one of my favorite movies of the year. And some might say that don't understand the movie, don't want to watch it. They're just kind of watching it because it's Oscar bait or so-called Oscar bait. Then they're like, oh, this is boring. No, it's not. Watch it in the theater. Trust me. The experience is worth it. I can't wait to see it again in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited about that one. That might be at the Dune Day, AJ, because there's a 1 o'clock showing of Drive My Car, and then there's an 8 o'clock showing of Dune. So I might just couple that with a couple movies in between to try to pad the lope, and then just do it both on the same day, so I can just knock them both out. My D-Day, quite literally. Brian says, Foxcatcher is really good. The only weak part was the first 10 minutes.
Yes, that's what, the Channing Tatum introductory stuff?
Yeah.
We're just kind of watching him. Okay.
Brian says the best part of Social Network was Andrew Garfield, an actor who plays twins that we can't talk about. This network talks about Chris Benoit on the regular basis. I'm not going to not mention Armie Hammer. I'm sorry. He would have been Batman if he didn't lose his freaking mind.
Well, still, I mean, obviously, I could talk to you about Eisenberg's performance all day, but you know who also just continuously impresses me throughout the Social Network is Timberlake.
Oh, totally.
He's like an amazing
Napster.
Just kill shot. Anyway, Best part of the social net. Oh God, we're out of that question. Parson Burger says there's one wrong thing with the social network. Facebook sucks.
No
I like
arguments
playing,
here.
I like playing games on Facebook, Parsnip Burger. I'm sorry.
Hang on, where's Parsnip's other comment is pretty good as well.
We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm doing things in order, Ash. You should know this by now. How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, but
Brian
you already
says,
talked about the Brian comment. I thought, I don't know.
best part of social network. I'll take a shot. Still upset. I'm sleepy. Parson Burger says, I love it. AJ likes it so much when he has no social media.
Yeah. So wrong. Well, then again, though, I mean, isn't the social network like showing the makings of why Facebook is evil? Like we're seeing the early stages of why it's evil. And then it's what we've seen now.
Still upset Garfield wasn't nominated for supporting actor for Social Network, says Murphy Boy. Brian says Carell is really scary in Foxcatcher. I do say, like the Oscars, he's leading.
Yes.
100. You're not going to find anybody disagreeing with that statement on this panel whatsoever. Go back to that season. Yeah. That was fun. Exactly. And not in a bad way. So I've got lots of weird notes about this show based upon what happened. First off, they're like, hey, Stunt Ensemble, you're pre-show.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You are the pre-show to what's going to be happening in 4 weeks' time. To best original score and all the shorts and editing.
Before that causes a whole, just me throwing my computer out the window in a rage.
We did this again.
I had heard. Yeah, we just went on that whole thing in the video right before that news broke.
Yep.
Our SAG prediction video almost went another fucking hour if that news had broken just a little earlier.
100%.
But here's the thing. Has anybody else heard about this? I heard a possible rumor that the score nominees might be boycotting.
Yeah, I saw the Variety article saying that as well. Because the added impetus is throughout that hour, when they're doing the red carpet stuff, they're just going to be live tweeting the results of those 8 categories.
That's so stupid.
And then the red carpet bit where they show up earlier will then get interspliced during the show. So it won't actually be them doing their acceptance speeches in the auditorium. It'll be them talking about it on the red carpet, allegedly.
How about we... Oh, I don't know. If you're going to do this and they're committing to doing something like this, then how about we cut the show? Let's make it 1 hour long. Just have Will Ferrell as Ron Burgundy come in the set and read off the winners, and that's it. And take it home, and then the GP will be happy.
Somebody made a good point as well on Twitter. So, I mean, it was with a few Sarah awards to go tonight, but they said tonight has had everybody giving their speeches for as short or as long as they wanted. Bearing in course of the
Jurassic Park, but yeah,
bearing in course of the Will might have got cut a little short, but nobody else really did. Especially the impactful ones, which we'll get to and whatever. But you managed to have all that, plus the dead people, plus Helen Mirren, in what, 2 hours and 5 minutes?
Probably about 9 or 10 minutes, actually. I think that's when the actor was announced. I feel like it was about 10:06, 10:07, something like that.
Well, you guys sounded like you were still watching it when I signed on here. Were you behind me maybe? Because when I signed on here, it was over.
We're using feeds. That's all I'm saying, AJ.
Well, the thing is when Will Smith said, "I know I'm supposed to hurry up," it was exactly 10 o'clock.
Okay.
For me.
That's why I was saying 2 hours and 5 minutes, because I was expecting a delay because of me not being in America, and this doesn't get televised in the UK because it doesn't matter, except
Oh,
when the English people win, in which case it matters.
I don't have access to television, so I'm watching said feed as well. So yeah, when I said like 2 hours and 9 minutes, because at the end of the day, what was going on as you were logging on, we were getting the put over for code at the end.
Yeah.
We're still in the midst of it. I was still listening to the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Jason's. That's all that matters.
But yeah, 2 hours and a little bit of change, plus
Yeah.
the regular adverts, including that weird one with the pistachios and the turtle. I still don't get it.
I ignored it. That weird commercial for Verbo using the Muppets music, that was strange.
So
but
yeah,
the fact remains, we have an answer to the question we've been asking. When is the Critics' Choice Awards? The Critics' Choice Awards will be on March 13th at 7 p.m.
now is that still the same day as BAFTA, or?
Yes.
So what I am proposing, AJ, is
Oh dear Lord.
all three of us do a BAFTA hangout on Discord, so you can watch it as I watch it live. Because if it's on from like 9 to 11, like I'm guessing it's going to be our time, that means there'll only be an hour between that and Critics' Choice. That's why Critics' Choice is having to be in London as well as LA, because they realised, oh shit, people might want to go to both.
So what you're saying is going to be live for BAFTA, but we're going to do a pre-show for Critics' Choice.
Well, the problem is we can't really. Well, no, we'll do the post show after the Critics' Choice. It's just we'll have to hang out on here just so you can see it, like, not clashing with the other one.
I think we'll cross this bridge when we get there. I want to make sure we don't get too sidetracked and accidentally let this Twitter thing off the hook. So, I didn't know about that's news to me. The Twitter thing. Like, that's
what Twitter
like, here's the thing is the reason I bring up the boycott is, are we all under the impression this will get them to back down?
It's very possible.
Because it didn't even really take a boycott back in 2018. It's just a bunch of people screaming, "Don't be fucking idiots." And they were like, "Oh, sorry. Okay, we won't do that then." So we were talking about how they are just actively trying to make the show for an audience that's not watching anyway, and never will. And they keep going for this while pissing off the people they're supposed to be honoring. They keep finding new ways, and sometimes old ways. This is a lot of deja vu from 2018. I haven't seen anybody say this is a good idea, and I haven't seen anybody say, "Oh, I'm gonna watch the show now."
Jimmy Kimmel.
What's the goal? What about Jimmy Kimmel?
Apparently, he's the one that's not like talking like bad about it. I saw on Twitter that he was the one that was actually like, he wasn't like championing the idea, but he's not like going against it.
All right, well, he needs to be bitch slapped if he's not straight up saying exactly what everybody else is saying in regards to this is a fucking stupid idea. I know I literally just said agree with the hive mind or you will be bitch slapped, but in this particular case, I think it warrants it. And when you're in the fucking industry and you've hosted the show twice at least, I've lost track. No, this is not the way to go. This is never going to be the way to go, and I don't know why they keep trying to push this. Like, is this like a group of people, or is this like one person in charge making these decisions? Does anybody know this?
I'm trying to find this article. The problem is when you look at the award section of Variety, there's a shit ton of pages, especially with everything that's going on in Eastern Europe.
I'll get to chat in a minute when we get there in a second. I don't want to interrupt AJ's.
Steven Spielberg developing original Frank Bullitt movie.
Yep, that got
God.
dropped yesterday, I think.
No.
Yeah, there's something about that. Something about him wanting to go into westerns. I wasn't even sure. Apparently, The Fabelmans is in post. I wasn't even sure if it had started yet.
Dream 6 is going in production in Canada starting in the summer.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So,
Get
so
my mask.
but I want to know. I want to know who this person in charge is because I don't get because you always hear that stuff about how corporate people and people at the top are so out of touch with what people actually want when they work for a company. But that's how are you this hard to convince that this is not the way to go? Please don't tell me you just saw a worse development judging by that expression.
No, I'm reading something in chat. I consider it a worse development, but I know we're in the minority when it comes to that.
What's that?
All right, so real quick before we get in the chat, Smurfy Boy says this year's Best Actress race is crazier than last year because at least Mulligan and McDormand were in Best Picture nominees, where no one isn't a Best Picture nominee. Brian says I'm take a shot. Who doesn't want to see a Zimmer get a standing ovation for his long second Oscar live? Me. Brian says ranking on the 10 Spider-Man themed movies. Number 10, The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 9, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. 8, Spider-Man Homecoming. 7, Spider-Man Far From Home. 6, Spider-Man 2. 5, Spider-Man 3. 4, Amazing Spider-Man 2. 3, Spider-Man. 2, Venom. And 1, Into the Spider-Verse.
That's unexpected.
Yeah.
That's unique. That's a unique ranking. I like hearing a new voice. I'll say that.
Like Smurfy Boy.
I do agree. I do agree that Garfield's first one's the worst, actually. Despite how much I love his second one, controversially.
I've never seen the other. I have never seen the subsidiary movies, and I still haven't seen Spider-Verse either. So I've never seen a Venom movie.
Lucky people tell you. Lucky.
I'd say, including the people that had it re-released in a theater like 7 times apparently in like the last several months for no reason. I just don't understand why. Smurfy Boy says the Academy is trying to cater to people who don't even watch the Oscars. Yeah, I think we're all starting to believe that at this point.
I don't even.
Okay.
I don't get it. Is it an ABC thing, or is it an Academy thing, or is it something else entirely? What is it?
Well, considering the fact now that you have to stream in order to have any visibility in award shows when it comes to television, I think that the broadcast networks are kind of feeling slighted, so they're trying anything they can to get some ratings. But if that's the case, then you stuff the ballot box, and you can't do that. So they're not going to do that. They can't do that. So there's nothing they can do that's going to make people care. Explain to someone in the general public doesn't know any better about Coda or Drive My Car. You're going to get like Homer in the bush easing back like Brian Myers.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is Coda is a crowd pleaser.
Oh my God, yes.
Coda.
I can justify this completely.
I think I even said this back in August or September when I reviewed it, and I think a lot of reviews said it when it was at Sundance was if it had gotten a proper release, it would have been My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
But you got to sell people on it though, and it's hard to sell some of the GP on a movie like Coda, even though they're going to go for it when they actually watch it.
It is kind of funny to imagine a really pissed off person that's like, "Oh, I don't like going to 4 movies because I don't like subtitles. I'm gonna go to this movie Coda. That's in English."
Yeah, that's funny. That's like, hey, Alan's like, I'm gonna watch The Artist. Or as a projectionist, I have a feeling that they probably got a similar notification because it wasn't at the theater that I saw it in because it wasn't done that way. But when there was a time in the movie that goes completely silent, like when he like his hearing goes for the first time, and it's like you can't hear anything. There's actually a notification at some of the theaters that says there's a point in this movie where it's going to go completely silent. There's nothing wrong with the movie. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. And as a projectionist, we're told that, and we're supposed to put that over. Now, granted, no one does that but me. But still,
when I saw The Last Jedi, they had to do that for the big scene where
yeah.
the sound goes out.
Okay, so I've got some notes for this. We go into the show now, unless AJ is still on the soapbox, which I get it. And
I don't even know what the point is now, because we went through that whole thing already before this shit, and now it's just worse. And it's like it's at this rate, it's gonna be like, you know what? We don't even want to invite people to the show anymore. We're just gonna do a live feed on our Twitter that's just like Selena Gomez reading off the winners or some shit, like fucking SAG does with their fucking announcements now with Instagram Live. Like, what is that stupid shit? Who I don't fuck this.
AJ's about to leave.
Shall I quickly mention the stunts?
No, we're doing that.
Oh, I was trying to work out where the notes are going.
No. Brian says the next film he's watching is Margin Call.
Oh, nice.
Fun stuff there. Parson and Berger said Tony's did it before, so they're trying to copy them. There were several categories relegated to a PBS broadcast before the show started on CBS. Dear God.
Well, here's the thing, is that the Tonys are rewarding stuff that only a particular city will see. Movies are seen everywhere. So I don't know what the Tonys do, but that would be my, yeah. If they want to be like the Tonys, they're going down the wrong fucking path but once again, they're trying to go down the wrong path, it seems, so fuck them.
There you go. As Loreno, as always, has a point. Hey, everyone, they wouldn't have to choose awards to not show live if they actually prioritized the awards over stupid jokes and skits. Yes.
I think that's one of the worst things, that they actually said that's the reason. Like that.
And apparently the decision is final. They're not going to change it.
Yeah, because you know, when the Oscar show gets feedback the next morning, everybody's saying the comedy is why I watch it, the skits are why I watch it. I mean, isn't that what you hear about every single award show? How great the banter was.
Remember how great the banter was the last time there was multiple hosts, when it was Anne Hathaway and Jane Franco? The lowest rated ever, even to this day. Do you see what you're doing?
People like don't care. We're gonna do it anyway, but they're trying to appeal to the GP, and that's not going to work. It's not the People's Choice Awards; it's the Oscars.
Has anybody been able to locate Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick recently? Because Max Bialystock and Leo Bloom are definitely putting this fucking show on.
Oh,
There's
great.
No other explanation.
Very nice. So Smurfy's Boy says it's the same thing I was brought up a minute ago. It would be best for the Academy just live stream the Oscars.
There goes their whole audience. There goes every single one of them.
Yeah, but if you had it internationally, there'd be a lot of people that would be willing to stay up and watch it on YouTube rather than on traditional television, even in the UK, at 1 a.m.
Even so, even if you take all this into account, what's one 3-hour time slot one night out of the entire year? Like, why does it have to be, oh, if we don't get every single viewer in the entire fucking world, we're gonna fuck the show up until nobody's watching it?
I understand why they do it for the Grammys, because there's like 49,000 categories in that. But you'd have thought with like 23, that's nearly as many as MTV do. And they don't, they don't do they also won this.
No.
Then again, Critics' Choice will probably do that, because I'm pretty sure they did that last year and the last few years, when it's
Yeah,
they also won this. Like, thanks.
I feel very like defeated looking at my Critics' Choice predictions since we did them so early, knowing that I voted for some stuff that I definitely wouldn't right now.
I gotta say, I'm also kind of disappointed that the only thing we've heard about is the composers boycotting. Where's the fucking solidarity on this?
Well, apparently the editors aren't happy either for understandable reasons. But apparently they just when this was brought up in a town hall Zoom, according to the Variety article that I was looking at, which apparently the Twitter thing has now disappeared. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I read that.
Here.
At some point earlier last week. So whether it's been retracted because they can't be sure about whether that bit of the thing is confirmed. But the thing that is still there in the article is that basically the AMPAS and the Academy people that were there or that were on the call were adamant that the decision is final.
Here's the problem. There's lots of problems, but the problem is that they are, again, trying to appeal to a demographic that does not care. And at the end of the day, if you're going to cut awards on a show that has less than 30 awards that you could run in a very slick under 3 hours if you really wanted to, without all the gaga, pun not intended, you basically have a way to do so. And every single award is important in one way, shape, or form. And you got to think, this is someone's dream to walk across the Oscar stage and accept their award, but the closest they're going to get is a major Mark Award, because they're not going to get that pop for being on the stage, because God forbid somebody took way too long or we have to cut this. It's like, it's ridiculous.
I guess they don't want Riz Ahmed to win an Oscar.
I'm not sure if you. We'll get to that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing too. A thought literally crossed my mind like 2 fucking days ago. And this random thought that occurred to me was proven tonight. And now it's even more aggravating. The way it was you forget the fucking skit, whatever the hell the skits are even gonna be, and take out the banter. All you really need is one host that can control the night, control the crowd, and control everybody watching.
Right.
And somebody that could do this well was Ricky Gervais, and the reason for that was because it was a roast when it was Ricky Gervais.
Yep.
And the thought that crossed my mind was, you can't get Ricky Gervais for the Oscars. Number one, because he probably wouldn't, and secondly, Ricky Gervais is old. Like the last time Ricky Gervais did the Globes, everybody thought it was great and wonderful because he mentioned Epstein and all that. I thought he was trying too hard by that point, and the well had run dry. If you want a roast and a classy roast, the host needs to be Martin Short.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Martin Short would roast the whole fucking room, and everybody would walk away happy.
Yeah.
Considering what happened tonight. Considering what happened tonight with the SHAG Awards.
That's what I was saying. I had this thought 2 days ago, and then sure enough, Martin Short comes out, and he roasted the fucking room.
And it worked. And the thing is, too, if you're going to cut awards, if you're adamant about cutting awards, I'm sorry. I know I mentioned a minute ago that, like, costumes are important, production design's important, whatever. Editing is extremely important. Editing belongs on the telecast because editing, just like Lorraine said, it is an important category for a potential Best Picture win.
And it's so the editing category is so specific to film too.
Yeah.
And it's I just don't get that's my only question is who the fuck is doing this?
Someone that doesn't want things to succeed, apparently.
Someone that certainly doesn't give a shit about movies. That's a start. I was just thinking about this the other day also. Another reason, because I was talking about why we love doing the awards thing. And I would say if other people are bored, then fuck them. They can either make bets or not watch or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
We were talking about how it's fun either if you can have a horse in the race, and if you don't have a horse in the race, just making it a prediction game or whatever can be fun. But
Mhm.
another reason award season is so important to me is award season and the Oscars specifically is when I started really paying attention to the other aspects of filmmaking.
That's
When
fair.
you see every individual category broken up and it shows you what all specific details go into making a movie, you start thinking about those things when you watch movies, and you really start to understand more what exactly movie making is as a whole. And that's what all the categories do. They draw attention to that stuff.
I mean,
And
to a lesser.
you'll see like there could be a person right now that doesn't know what editing is, and they'll watch the Oscars, they'll see that editing is a category, and they'll look into it, and then 20 to 30 years later, that person could be Thelma Schoonmaker.
Yeah. And I mean, to a lesser extent, but it's the same concept. I don't watch a horror movie now to judge it as a movie. I watch it to see if it's got mace content. If it's something I could imagine Halloween Horror Nights. Because that stuff's important to me. And it's exactly the same way that you could see XYZ get nominated for cinematography. Let's find out why. And then, again, maybe we have your next great cinematographer. Got to start somewhere.
But yeah, there's somebody at the top of all this just saying fuck all this. Fuck the composers, fuck the editors, even the people that make the shorts. Like you were saying, we're gonna miss out on fucking if Riz Ahmed could win an Oscar, we're gonna miss that.
And the short's not even 20 minutes long. And it's good. Brian says it would be their YouTube channel, but there's a thing called copyright. He talks about montages, the 5 cheer moments, the 4 action films, the 1 musical. You have to also Smurfy Boy says, to take into consideration all 5 performances from the original song nominees. You're going to have Beyonce, Billy, Reba, maybe Van Morrison. Again, I don't care. It needs to be Bruce Springsteen. We're going to will that into existence. And Sebastian Yatra performing on the Oscar stage. And Smurfy Boy says, Ashley, you couldn't say this one because I don't curse on the network. Please look at that comment.
Which one?
I'll just edit it, Smurfy Boy. Every award show has their stuff together. He didn't say stuff.
Every award show has their shit together.
There we go. Even though the Hollywood Foreign Press Association are a mess, Globes at least get all their actors drunk. Yeah, and the Spirit Awards take place inside a tent. So I mean, I see where you're coming from.
I mean, technically wasn't it a tent tonight? They literally showed like a tent just going up in the middle of a hangar. Like the Critics' Choice used to be. I forget.
We'll see. Yeah, I got notes for everything. We did the I'm an actor stuff. Found out some interesting things. The first thing, I think Nicholas Braun is my spirit animal, apparently, because he likes soda just as much as I do. He became an actor to drink free soda. I need to know Nicholas Braun, Coke or Pepsi. So that's what I'm going to ask you. All the things that he's done in his career, I was like, nope, Coke or Pepsi.
And funny enough, I'm going to assume the first thing you, Owen, probably saw Nicholas Braun in was Red State.
Yep, you are absolutely right.
And then the very next year, he was Ponytail. I still call him Ponytail Derek to this day.
Ponytail Derek. Oh man, yes. AJ got a lot of really awesome moments for himself on this show, actually. So we found out. Go ahead.
I was just agreeing.
We found out immediately that apparently Lin-Manuel Miranda's kids are obsessed with Fraggle Rock. Okay, that's a thing. Didn't know that. Together again is our theme this year, so that makes sense. That's what we did. Apparently, so weird. Like some of the openings, like Lady Gaga fighting for the UFC. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Like Daveed Diggs like being owed $20 from Jason Sudeikis, and Sudeikis like plays along with it. He's like, him Zoom call and everything like that. I got lots of things to say that I'm happy about, and we'll get to that in a little bit. The stunts were first, and they were not on the show. They're like, "Yep, sorry."
Let's tweet it out. So, stunts in TV went to Squid Game, which I was the only one that got it wrong because I went with
Yep.
Fulton and the Winter Soldier. And then we all got it right because they did go with No Time to Die for movie stunts.
We kicked off the show with Best Supporting Actor.
That was
Stay down
quite
there.
quite
Stay down
the
there,
show.
Brian. Stay down.
What'd you say, AJ? You're talking, and Ashley was talking about randomness. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
So that was quite a kickoff to the show. By the way, first off, I just say, I any of them would have been golden. And people might think, what the hell? But if you've seen the movie, I loved the choice for Cooper's Clip.
Yeah. I was saying it along with them too. It was happening.
I mean, obviously, because that chunk of the movie is all you got. That like 3 minute chunk there, and I
Yeah.
love that it's him rummaging through the garage for the gas.
And Affleck could not be bothered to show.
Lots of people weren't, including several categories. But we'll get to that in a minute. Brian says you have notable actors nominated that can give viewers attraction to see if any of their favorite stars win. Together again, gee, it's good to be together again. Or wait, this is SAG, not the Muppets. Hey, you're preaching to the choir. I was happy for the Muppets reference. And the commercial later in that, yeah, Troy Kotsur got the first win for Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, I'm very happy to be right here.
It's like we were saying, you can literally win the entire season, but once we get this high, if you lose once, you're derailed.
Yeah.
Not necessarily completely, but because once again, BAFTA has proven stronger and stronger with every year. But this is a very, very good start for a lot of people.
I don't know whether you had it in your list, Owen, but now having seen it, would you put Troy in the 5?
Oh,
for
hell
supporting
yeah.
actor?
Absolutely, I would. I would say right now, if I had to redo my top 10, Coda is my number 3 right now. So that dropped Drive My Car to 4. So
Are we to assume you'd have gone for Amelia Jones as well?
I have been tough. Yeah, I probably would have, because if I look at let's see if I have them in front of. I don't have them in front of me. I can go look for them in a second. If we picked, okay, cool, I got it right here. Yeah, I actually still have it. So yeah, who did I go with? Let me check to make sure. Computers attack.
Because I meant when we did our personal picks, when I was describing why I loved her performance, even though I did that, I was still like finding new things to love about it when she was being interviewed on the red carpet, and they were saying you had to do sign language, you had to sing, and you had to do an American accent. And it's like there's a whole bunch of things she's doing all at once.
I didn't realise that she is the daughter of Aled Jones, who's most famous over here for being the not kid, but then eventually was the kid that did Walking in the Air on the Snowman.
Really?
Yeah. Amelia
Wow.
Jones is Aled Jones's daughter. And I'm like, the fuck?
I would have taken Gaga out for Jones, and I would have. Yeah, it's weird. I think I probably would have. I think I would have taken my winner Benicio out and gave it to Kotsur.
What about Matlin? Do you have a? Did you take her?
Yeah, I could bump. I would be able to bump. Take a shot. I'd be able to bump Nina Arianda from being Ricardo's out, and that's adapted, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, I could just happily take out Jane Campion. I'm totally down with that because I'll leave Spider-Man in there if I can take Campion out. I still give it to Levinson though, but I mean, yeah, I had to nominate Drive My Car, Lost Daughter, Spider-Man, Coda, and Tick Tick Boom. I think that's a great 5. And it'd definitely be in my picture lineup. So being the Ricardos got bootskied out. So Brian's going to bed. So Brian, we'll see you maybe tomorrow. If not, recap's going to be coming up. This is, of course, your podcast for the 27th. 28th will be our Spirit Awards predictions, which are going to be sometime around 9 o'clock tomorrow night after I get back from the documentary shorts. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I mean, AJ's been saying it, and I feel like, once again, he was on the pulse of it before anybody else was. They may not go for Cody Smith McPhee because he's too young.
I've been saying that.
I know.
And I was the only one of the 3 of us that picked him tonight.
I know. That's the best part.
Streisand.
Because I was waiting for Kieran Hines to take BAFTA before he got derailed, but he got derailed earlier than I expected.
We don't know who's strong anymore because Belfast took it. I'd say Belfast took kind of a hit tonight, but not really because there really wasn't much to it. I don't think Balf was ever going to win. It had a shot at Ensemble, but as the night progressed, it seemed like it was losing steam.
I'd say when you look at the Oscar nominations, it looks a lot stronger, but
agreed.
The comparing the guilds to the actual Oscar nominations this year got really weird. So it's really hard to say what's strong and what isn't, like overall.
Yeah, I've got a lot of really fun stuff coming up here in the little category ski we're going into. So yeah, I'm the only one on our panel that had coats are here. I'm not comfortable with. Now I look at it, I'm not comfortable with doing for WGA. I'm really wanting to say Coda now. I really wish I could go back and change that. And I feel like you guys are gonna get the point ski on that one. Speaking of an award that'll never go away, apparently, Mariana DeBose wins again for West Side Story.
So this is probably it, right?
Water is wet, 'tis the season. Yeah, Ariana DeBose is going to win the Oscar, and that's the reason. So there you go.
I find that funny because, again, I also saw Twitter saying this is the first night when everybody's going to go, well, that's a lock for the whole season. I don't think it's a lock for the whole season, but it definitely means that she's front runner.
She's got no competition, Ashley. Someone has to win other than her in order to develop any competition for her at this point.
We still have 4 weeks. The critics might hate her.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's the closest to her, and then obviously the only other person nominated that was here was Dunst, but I was trying to remember who all is at BAFTA that could take her down.
We have Balfe, Buckley, Dowd, Ellis, maybe for King Richard. And also because of British Q, Ruth Negga for passing. So...
yeah, I think DeBose has this. Honestly. Someone has to win to get visibility, but I really think at this point it's like the Will Smith thing. Who's going to job at the end? Because we already feel like we know already who's going to win. Could be wrong.
I would like to say... What's that?
Could be wrong. It's possible. But, I mean, the proof's in the pudding right now.
Yeah, because I would like to say that Buckley could take BAFTA, but looking at that list, I kind of feel like if DeBose would lose at BAFTA, it'd be to somebody that's not Oscar nominated.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Which has happened before, so it wouldn't be that out of the realm. Which would pretty much just solidify her even more. Sort of like when Regina King won the Globe, and then wasn't even nominated for SAG or BAFTA, and then somehow still came around. And when she won, though, it felt obvious, even though she missed so much.
I don't dislike DeBose's performance, but AJ, you brought it up a billion times on here. We've seen it before, literally.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like I don't want it to be misconstrued as me saying Anita has won before. Like I'm saying it has the same. The performance has the same beats as Morena's, and it just doesn't. And that's how I felt about the whole movie. But then again, I had mentioned when I talked about West Side Story that maybe I just need to see it again
Hmm.
to really pick apart what's there. And interestingly enough, Guillermo del Toro was tweeting about it very passionately, saying you have to see West Side Story multiple times to see the subtle, amazing things that are in it and that they're everywhere. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to trust Guillermo del Toro when he's talking about filmmaking.
I mean,
So,
I will say that it for me for a second viewing, it actually improved. Like
yeah,
my experience was better the second time.
because when I was watching it, all I could see was the 61 movie. I was like, they literally didn't change anything except for a couple of the obvious things.
Right.
Like Moreno performing somewhere and a couple of the song placements. But other than that, it felt like it was just exactly the same movie with a lot of the time exactly the same performances, apart from the awful shit that Zegler was doing. But we won't go into that.
No. We actually had the real Vanessa Hudgens on stage tonight. Um. So Smurfy Boy says, I think the thing that might hurt Cody Smith McPhee is his age. The Academy doesn't like giving Oscars to young men. Yeah, I mean, I feel like
We had the Timothy Hutton discussion, and then I can't remember the last young one since him.
there's a lot of people we thought were going to get visibility, and they have got visibility before we got to the Oscars, but they didn't go all the way. So, where are we? We are going into. So, the placement of everything is bizarre because I don't care about television. I'm sure there's some people that watch care about movies. They just want to watch the television categories. When do the television categories become important over the movie categories? I guess it's just kind of split it up a little bit because the next one was actor in a comedy, which of course no one beats Jason Sudeikis. I don't know why anybody thought that would happen. Ted Lasso is an unstoppable juggernaut that needs to be killed before he gets stronger. So
I'm just picturing a hydra of 3 Jason Sudeikis heads, and it's just killing me.
dude's got a Jason Mraz hat and everything when he was in a Zoom call. So needless to say, kind of a little bit of identification with him there. We all went with Ted Lasso because, yeah, of course. Speaking of all went with everything, actress in a comedy enter Jean Smart for Hacks. But ensemble, AJ's the only one of us that went with Ted Lasso and got himself a point.
I thought for a second Ashley might have been onto something with Hacks, but I just felt like Ted Lasso hasn't been.
I just
Ted
followed the
Lasso.
Emmys because the Emmys went with Hacks over Ted Lasso.
I was thinking only Murders in the Building was getting so much visibility with everything, with what Marty did, with what Steve Martin was doing, with what Selena Gomez was doing, that they were give it something.
Well, Steve Martin no-showed, so you know.
He was still there. His face was there, so that's good enough.
One of my favorite moments was when Jane Lynch, who's playing Steve Martin's old stunt double, shows up and Martin Short screams, "What is this face off?" I love that was his clip.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to remember exactly the order of everything. Yeah, we did get a very nice Spring Breakers callback with both Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez being like mere awards apart from each other on the stage, which was cool. And I did like the fact that they played with the Jonathan Larson connection with having Vanessa Hudgens, of course, from Tick Tick Boom, and then also having Rosario Dawson from Rent. So I thought that was cool to like give tribute that way. And given the fact I am the Rent mark here, of course I had to go for that.
Yeah, because I kept saying Rosario Dawson's here because of Dope Sick, and I still every year I have to remind myself that miniseries doesn't have an ensemble category, and I feel like that's gotta change soon.
I feel like it probably will. One of the biggest markouts on my Twitter feed, I'm sure everybody popped when we heard Time After Time. We got a Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. God, that was cool.
It was
That's
weird, but cool at the same time.
And then
I don't think it was weird. I think that's just Lisa Kudrow's personality, and we love her for it.
No, it's just like the fact that it got practice. I mean, it didn't get a standing ovation, but it felt like a standing ovation. And it's just like, look, they did a film like 25, 30 years ago. It's
hey,
not like it's like Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, where it's like they're nearly dead. Applaud them.
The only thing that was missing was Alan Cumming. He needed to be the third one.
So drama and an actor and actress went to Squid Game.
Wow.
That was unexpected.
Very much so.
I thought they might have got one, but not both.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Elizabeth Moss no-showed because she's working on something else, which led to Sarah Snook taking her role in the horror film that she's supposed to be in, that's filming in Australia, which means she couldn't come either, and Jennifer Aniston didn't give a shit. I guess.
Well, the only reason I know this is because I just happened to watch an interview by chance. I was watching a Sandler interview, and he said they're in some other country doing Murder Mystery 2. That's probably where Aniston
fuck
is.
them. Fuck them.
Good Lord. I would say really feel
But then again, it's also appropriate because Aniston did that really fucking cool thing where she called out Sandler's Uncut Gems performance at the end of her speech last time. So there is that.
Well, Squid Game was powerful, but it wasn't powerful enough to take Ensemble because it went to AJ's victory in Succession.
I was convinced it was going to be Squid Game, and I think Alan Ruck was convinced it was going to be Squid Game because he looked like he didn't know what to do with himself.
A lot of people don't look like they knew what to do with themselves.
Especially when Brian Cox started talking about the whole Eastern European thing. That if we talk about, we get demonetized. So
Yeah,
because you could see some of the cast in the background were like, oh god, this means I'm not gonna get a gig at Moscow, innit?
I was too distracted to tell exactly what he was saying because I noticed the censor didn't catch him when
shit.
his mask tore his glasses off.
Shit.
I mean, as I know from being obviously an AEW fan, that word is okay on TBS.
Yeah, it was a TV-14, so language and violence was allowed. Although I don't remember much violence. But
they also got to play the line where Coleman says, "I'm going to cut your dicks off." That was surprising. Because I saw that was the clip they were going to use, and I was like, well, they're not going to let her say the line. And she said the line, and that was the whole clip.
And also, in Brian Cox's clip for actor, they did actually censor shit, I think.
That's ironic.
Well, they censored the pre-recorded thing, but live, it were just like, oh shit, we forgot the shit button. Shit.
He lost his facial covering, which said F off on it, and he just it fell off his face. He's like, oh, shit. We had a Lifetime Achievement Award for Helen Mirren that Kate Winslet decided to show up via video.
And of course, answering AJ's question, it's just the first snogging scene in the bathroom. They don't use much else from the cook to feed his wife and her lover.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the thing. I do love Helen Mirren. Everybody should love Helen Mirren.
Okay.
I was watching the montage, and usually when you're watching a montage, you're like, oh, I know that movie. I know this movie. I know that movie. I learned today that a lot of Helen Mirren's movies blend together.
That's great.
It's like, oh, there's that co-star. That's that movie. Oh, there's this co-star. Okay.
There's Eye in the Sky. There's Woman in Gold. There's the Duke.
Fucking Red.
And Red too.
Cassie says, hey everyone, pretty good award show. Smurfy Boy says it's going to be Squid Games versus Succession at the Emmys.
Yeah, so it's always been Squid Game versus Succession. But after we've done the Globes, the Critics' Choice, and now this, I'm so sick of saying, is it Squid Game or is it Succession?
Well, we've still got the Critics' Choice, though.
Well, we've also got a category with actress in a miniseries or film where no one bothered to show up.
Hang on.
Which is appropriate, because that's when they decided, you know what, fuck clips now, we're running behind.
Yeah, that's kind of a waste.
Well, we know that Jean Smart was there.
And she must have been in the bathroom because she wasn't like shown at all. They're like, nope. Sorry.
I guess to be fair to the others, they just showed like silent video clips of them just to try and catch up on time.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Kate Winslet.
I'm trying to work out why Winslet was stuck in the UK. I can't see anything that she'd be filming in the UK.
Maybe she's quarantined for some reason.
Possibly.
Yeah, I didn't want to say this because I didn't want it to sound like an insult.
But
that sounds like
Did she look a little bit sick to anybody else? Or was that just me? Or was it just bad lighting?
Bad lighting is my guess. And plus, I was not paying attention.
I keep seeing her L'Oreal commercial every time I try and skip YouTube adverts. Either that or Viola Davis or Helen Mirren. So, to be fair, also it doesn't. She looks very similar to that in Ammonite as well. Maybe it's because she didn't want to make herself up. Because she didn't think she was going to win. Plus, clearly it was pre-recorded because, Cumberbatch is like, this is mine now!
So, we got her in memoriam, which is the first time that we've had to face the tragedies that have befallen the community this year. And, that was a rough one. Portier ends at the actual lineup, which is great.
Closely followed by Betty, though, as well.
Yeah.
And then Ed Asner opening it as well.
Sad. There's so many great television actors and actresses that
I do appreciate, though, they did actually acknowledge Sonny Chiba as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it fits the somber mood. But still, interesting choice to go with Fight Club for Meatloaf.
So Selma Hayek.
Hang on. Let's get the proper name as she was introduced.
I don't care. Just like it says, like Aaron Johnson, no one uses married name even since 2009. 19, not 9. But yes.
It's also always embarrassing when divorces happen quickly. It's like, I'm going to go through the whole trouble to be credited by this name now, briefly.
Selma Hayek Pino.
Yeah, so
luckily she's been married to him since 2009, so
I was right.
The 12-year itch is happening.
Okay, I don't know who wrote her copy, but it's the most weirdest dialogue I heard all night. Talking about the actors, and she says, and I quote, "You need to super glue your ass to your couch or your bathtub." And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, that's a thing. Speaking of that's a thing, the one time we don't go with Michael Keaton, he actually wins.
But what a speech, though.
That was a whole roller coaster. Like when at first I assumed he wasn't there, and then I was afraid. And then the way everything started, like doing what it was doing, I was like, did something happen to him? And I started to worry for his safety. Then he literally rolls onto the stage.
He's auditioning for Batgirl again.
Then he shuts everything down by saying, "This whole event is narcissistic, right?" And then he's like, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna do this anyway. You can tell me to shut up, but I'm not going to." And then you cheer him on, and then it got really somber really fast. It was a that speech had everything.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I love the silence that he got. Like I love that it seemed like the room was letting him get everything out and there was no like rush. Like I know it's like you got to be a real piece of shit to play him off at some point, but
mhm.
with the way these award shows are going lately, I feel like they're just fucking soulless with the choices they've been making. I was so glad to see him get that moment completely uninterrupted.
Especially because of the severity of it being his nephew and his sister, I think.
Yeah.
Both both probably lost their lives to opiate uh, issues.
Yeah, I think
Which is probably why he did the project in itself.
I think his nephew was heroin, but it's still the subject matter of Dope Six still remains. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was a knock-on effect of not being able to get that painkiller, so turning to other stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up that. I don't know much about Dope Sick at all, or if anything, just the name and going with Michael Keaton because it's Michael Keaton. But I mean, there was there's it's a mobile app called Fend, and it's called the Fend movement, and it's about like trying to raise awareness for like opiate addiction, things like that. And during Warp Tour, uh, water parks, which of course like my favorite band, they would do like special acoustic sets for people that won little competitions in order to like meet them and get to see them perform if you like signed up for a contest and won a contest via that website. And it was a really cool thing that they were doing. And I wasn't aware that's what Dope Sick was about. Didn't know anything about it. I just knew the name. That's about it. So
I'm 3 episodes in right now out of 8, I think.
mhm.
And I'm real like his win makes me really curious to keep going because episode 3 where I left off ends on a massive cliffhanger for his character and I'm really curious to see where his performance is going to go from here. So this night was really good hype for that. The award shows are doing their job. They're really selling the stuff that's winning.
Yeah, Cassie says, I was watching a montage of Helen Mirren and I realized I have not seen a lot of her movies. I was thinking the same thing because she said she wanted to be there and then she said she couldn't.
In terms of Winslet, yeah.
Speaking of surprises, AJ, once again, I know you were hated to be wrong on this one. Obviously, you were super happy that your performance for Jessica Chastain,
That
Tammy Faye, actually took the SAG.
I am elated. I'm
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that that performance is getting this, and it is the kind of performance that I can imagine it could potentially be dethroned by whatever wins BAFTA. But if
Mhm.
this is the start of her reigning supreme, I'm going to be her biggest cheerleader.
At
So,
this rate, it's going to be brilliant. Kidman wins the Globe. Chastain gets the SAG.
Coleman wins.
Uh, Critics give it to Gaga.
if I remember correctly, Coleman's not at BAFTA
She's
this
not.
year.
That's right.
They give it to. I'm going to call it here, even though I'm going to be doing it in 2 weeks anyway. But they give it to Joanna Scanlon for Best Actress.
Yeah, they could waste a
And
British
and
BAFTA if they want.
you haven't seen the movie.
Doesn't matter. It's not going to do it. It's just visibility.
Yes, but you haven't seen the movie.
I probably.
Considering most of the nominations that are in that category, Joanna plays it out the park compared to most of them. Even with Alana Hyman, you know how much I like Licorice Pizza. And then, of course, Kay Stewart Coleman wins the Oscar, so there's literally no. Is she in the? Hang on, I'm trying to.
There's no front runner. That's the point of this.
Oh, she
At the
isn't.
end
The fact that
and
Lost
there's
Daughter's in for Best Feature Film at the Spirits, but isn't in for Best Actress.
that's
It
the spirit.
could, BAFTA could further strengthen Coda if they want to go Amelia Jones.
And I would love that. I would really love that, actually. BAFTA could really make Coda a top 3 player in the actual award race. Lorraine said,
When is PGA again?
over here.
PGA was March 19th.
Yep.
So far away. So far away, but also so not.
So it'll be after everything. Well, bar WGA, but you know, it's after all the other significant ones. I think even the Satellite Awards the Satellite Awards are March the 18th.
The guilds are very close to each other. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because PGA, technically speaking, was yesterday, but then they moved it to March. Smurfy Boy says, I can see Stewart winning Critics' Choice, Critics love her performance. I wouldn't have a problem if she won something.
Yeah, Stewart could really Regina King it if they really want to go for her.
Possible. Lorraine says, I don't know if anybody heard or not, because I was not trying to talk over AJ, but that's what happens on these kind of shows. Lorraine says, I wanted Leto to win just so I could hear AJ screams all the way over here. I'd be more worried about Ashley chugging hot dog brine here on the network.
Even just the clip of Leto, it's like, I don't know. It's so, it's interesting that there's a point in time in the Always Sunny podcast where they bleeped something out because they didn't want to cause any trouble. But if you use context clues, it sounds like Glenn Howerton is calling out Jared Leto for being a legit psychopath that's not actually the only reason he's an actor is because it's hiding him from being found out as a serial killer. And he was saying how there's no way that guy is an actor. He's too insane for real. There was also a possibility he could have been talking about Rami Malek, but the consensus seemed to be he was talking about Leto.
After seeing that trailer for the what's it called? The WeWork thing that's on Apple. Oh, I can't remember what it's called exactly. It's We something. You need to see it, Owen, because I swear it is blooming Jared Leto doing his best impression of Tommy Wiseau.
I was wondering if you were going to go there.
Oh my god!
I need to see this too.
Wait. Are you telling me that Jared Leto's best Tommy Wiseau wasn't Paolo Gucci?
You see, because it's a television streaming thing, does it allow you to see it once we're done? Hey, AJ.
Anyway, you talk about the potential damning things about Jared Leto that the podcast is trying to say without saying. The only thing that gets to mind for me when I see him on the stage is I feel like he wants to go back to 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Morbius goes.
Vibe from him right now. He wants to go back to music.
We'll see how Morbius goes and that trailer that's apparently showing up in the next day or two.
I saw it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if necessarily it's the new one, but it's a newer one, so I'm going to guess that it's the newest one that's out right now, unless we get a new one on the Batman.
There is a final one that's supposed to be coming, probably to go on the back of the definitive article Batman, apparently.
It'll probably be on Batman. I wouldn't surprise me at all. Jurassic World I got to see the other day, and I'm positive it'll probably be on Batman too.
Oh, We Crashed is the name of the thing.
So yeah, at the end of the day, there's no front runner and actress, so it's literally up in the air at this point. But what's not up in the air at this point, I feel at this time, is Best Actor. Now, this could be
dude.
this.
I feel like you Cumberbatch could very easily win BAFTA. It would be so easy for Cumberbatch to win BAFTA.
This could be also everybody's saying Will Smith's got it in the bag. Will Smith's got it in the bag. This could be the only thing Will Smith wins the rest of the run too, which is also possible.
And of course, thinking back to when he was nominated for Ali, when Denzel won, the SAG that year went to Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York. So
this would also be
Well,
the only
second, are we sure? Because Ali was 2001 and Gangs of New York was 2002.
oh, not Gangs of New York. Oh, what was it? Russell Crowe for A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with the two.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with the two because I was trying to like, wait, Ali wasn't Ali wasn't in SAG.
Yeah, it missed.
Yeah.
It also came out really, really late because I remember seeing Ali in theaters in January.
For all the people that think that Power of the Dog is going to win Best Picture, for all of the things that we've talked about, AJ's mentioned this is definitely not the year for a streaming movie to win Best Picture. You got to look at it from this perspective. At this very moment, and it could change, and it might change, the only acting performance that actually has a chance right now is Cumberbatch. Because I don't think Cody Smith McPhee's in it. And
yeah, because you could say, I don't want to jump on Power of the Dog falling behind, as it were. But I mean, Cody Smith McPhee going down and it missing an ensemble entirely, I feel like SAG is a big hit for Power of the Dog. But at the same time, like we were saying, with the way guilds have been this season, it's really hard to say because while we could give SAG a lot of credit for saying, oh man, they gave a huge hit to Power of the Dog, we thought they gave a huge boost to House of Gucci, and they apparently didn't. So...
And with Belfast.
I know, Belfast seems like
it's comfortable.
Yeah, because all the hits that Belfast took at SAG, BAFTA picked up.
Right.
And then obviously Balf just morphed into Dench, and Hines got through. So I feel like the only thing that bums me out about Belfast is that cinematography snub. That's still bullshit to me. But and it's not in editing either, which could be seen as a hit as well. But gotta throw Don't Look Up's ADD ass in there.
It's nice to see that an entire table could join us. It's like, hey, it's Meryl Streep, Tyler Perry, and Cate Blanchett. It's like, yep, that's all that's here. Sorry.
When they brought them out to introduce it as an ensemble nominee, they didn't say Cate Blanchett's name, did they?
I don't believe so.
I think they said Streep and Perry, and Blanchett was just there.
No, they were sitting at the table, and I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, yeah. I haven't seen Don't Look Up in so long. It's like, that was one of the first ones I got to watch this season, and it's like, I've like forgot most about it. And then we took it home with ensemble. Ashley was the one that went with Coda.
You watched me convince myself in real time that it was King Richard when I had Coda in my grasp.
Oh, and when the Hamilton trio decided they were going to bookmark the show by presenting the first award and the last, I felt like they were just going to say King Richard and be done with it. But when Will Smith kept going longer and longer, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to have much more time, I think he knew right then and there the writing was on the wall that something else was going to win ensemble.
It did feel really amazing seeing Hamilton bookend the show.
Right.
With Ariana DeBose winning in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's essentially she's not an extra in Hamilton, but you could probably call her a prominent extra in Hamilton, if that makes
I mean,
sense.
she in IMDb she's just listed as ensemble. To be fair, it's some of the other stuff because I think she did. I don't know if it's I Dreamed a Dream character from Les Mis or not, but that was an actual named role. And then she was Disco Donna Summer in the Donna Summer musical or something. Like when you look at her musical repertoire, it's like, man, why hasn't she done more film work? Um, I mean,
Well, that'll probably change when she's an Oscar winner.
yeah,
So she'll be.
Hairspray, Bring It On, Sondheim's Company, Motown the Musical, where she was Mary Wilson and understudy for Diana Ross. Um, Pippin, which is Fosse. And then also Bronx Tale. She was part of that musical as well.
So, Smurfy Boy says if Cumberbatch and Smith McPhee lose, but Power of the Dog wins picture, then that means it wins picture without an acting award. It seems like that happens a lot.
And sadly, she was also in the prom.
Oh, that's right.
Damn you, Corden!
Well, the thing is, the question now is with the whole USC scripter thing, is Power of the Dog not as certain and adapted now? Because it seemed like, but then we've been talking about if Campion is Jason Reitman this year, when Jason Reitman won every goddamn award under the sun for Up in the Air, and then lost to Precious at the very last second. The very last second, lost to Precious.
Yeah. Thing is, I hated that obviously because I loved one movie and absolutely hated the other one. So,
and it might be like you want to award a female writer director, and it's like, or you can award a female writer director by giving adapted to Campion, or you can award a female writer director that hasn't won yet and give it to Gyllenhaal.
I would love if this was the start of Jane Campion going down, but I don't think it's going to happen, sadly.
We're probably just talking ourselves into a frenzy.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in a world where there's not many certainties in this award season, but it feels like that's one of the ones that you probably can seal up right now.
I feel like what's getting us hyped is Cody McPhee losing.
A female,
It's like, holy shit, Power of the Dogs one day.
or a female writer director that's a first time director in Coda.
I would love.
Let's make it a 3-woman race. Damn it!
I was gonna say, like I was saying when we were doing predictions, the only person missing is Rebecca Hall.
Yeah. Apparently, passing wasn't strong enough to get enough visibility for. Yeah, it makes no sense. I think that's our show.
So basically, conclusion is it's a fun race, but it's like until like PGA happens, the Power of the Dog might still be here, despite the fact of having no showing tonight whatsoever. That may not mean anything.
Power of the Dog and Belfast both had no showing tonight.
And we were saying that King Richard gets better and better with every show. While it didn't win ensemble, still Smith winning tonight is a big win for King Richard still. So
big win for King Richard and big boost for Coda tonight too.
Now we'll just have to see if what BAFTA solidifies and what BAFTA throws into complete disarray.
So the scores on the doors after 2 big things. Currently, myself and Owen are joint last on 13, and AJ keeps the lead with 18.
I suck that bad at globes.
Yeah, we both had 6 and AJ had 10.
Because we only were 1 point away here tonight. So AJ got 8 and we got 7.
Keep in mind, because of those early predictions that we had to do for the spirits, because they announced them early, which I'll reveal tomorrow on the predictions itself. We Owen, you're already leading before we even get to the actual predictions for the main awards.
How's that?
The out of those 3 categories, that are like the one to watch awards and whatever, you have 2, AJ has 1, and I have 0.
Yeah. Lorraine says, conclusion is I have no idea what's going on and I'm rolling dice on Best Actress. Yeah, I think we all are at this point.
I really thought we were going to see a Kidman turn tonight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They don't like her
I was
anymore.
I was not counting on my horse in the race to be in the race. It's so nice. I'm telling you. The last scene, the Eyes of Tammy Faye is not that great, but the last scene of the movie is one of the best acting scenes in a while. She really, really fucking killed it.
I really wish it came that I could actually have seen it. It was here for like a week, but that was before it had any visibility whatsoever, so I had passed on it. I think that's your show. First off, I want to thank everyone joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. Tomorrow, we should be live close to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Spirit Awards predictions. And then that's going to be your Monday show. And I think AJ's got another review coming your way for Tuesday.
Yes.
And this weekend obviously rolls into, it's important for me, obviously, because this weekend is AEW Revolution weekend. I'm actually going to be at Rampage and the pay-per-view, going to the Control Your Narrative show at Tin Roof, and also the Max Caster show on Saturday night afterwards. I may even get to write Icebreaker at one point with Troy. We'll see what happens with that. Spirit Awards coverage. I'm not here. AJ's not here. I'm not aware if Ashley's going to be doing anything for the Spirits on Sunday or not. I guess we'll wait and see.
If AJ's willing to do a post show with me, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find anywhere that's going to be able to stream it, so I'm just going to have to be looking at Twitter feeds and then also keeping a second eye on the wrestling.
Yeah, my issue is I'm going to be out of town from Wednesday until Monday night.
Okay, then we'll just do it. I might do a video myself just going through it then. Whether it's live or whether it's just a recorded thing. There'll be something going up next week.
Sounds good. Cassie says yes. Yeah, same thing. She concurs with Lorraine. As Murphy Boy says, the industry has been wanting to give Chastain an award for years, and now they have a chance.
It's still crazy to me. This is her first nomination since Zero Dark 30. I feel like she's had like 3 more since then.
I've just realised, does that mean that we're going to have to do a midweek session for BAFTA?
That sounds about right. I don't know what day. Because everybody knows Wednesday's out, so...
We'll figure it off air.
We'll figure it out. So yeah, you can find Ashley on Twitter at AshIsMyNameUK. More Snack Stash is coming. Gaming content will return to the network eventually. Some more stuff coming his way.
Maybe AJ, wrestling stuff as we get hyped for GCW and Joey Janela versus X-Pac.
Yes. Obviously, my boys in the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Getting It Done. Mac is the Ultimo Dragon of this generation now, holding 7 championships and growing. So yeah, I will state right now that AJ, of course, is not found on social media, and just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Needless to say, if you want to leave him a comment, you're more than welcome to, and he'll get back to you in about a year or so, most likely. Because that's just, we do videos and everything like that, and we just go over all the comments. So that's something we've got. again, I want to thank everyone for leaving versus ideas. There's a lot of people that leave versus ideas, and we take those into consideration. And some of them end up on the network, and then we give credit. So that's something that you'll see in the very near future as well. Versus will be returning back to the network sooner rather than later. Just right now, it's movie time, so lots of stuff to focus on. Lots of movie reviews still to come. Obviously, it's the Batman week, so we're super excited about that here on Popcast Network. Cannot wait for that. I'm actually going to be watching Batman at 11 p.m. the night of the AEW tapings, so that's how much I'm devoted to seeing that movie on Thursday night. Even though technically speaking, it will be Thursday night because it's 11 o'clock. So yes, I still win. So that's your show. You can follow me on Twitter at Suro and Disney. And thanks again for watching tonight. And that's all we got for the show. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
I was waiting for the signal.